It's story time. Story time. Let's read it story time. Story time. I'm geek the story time. Story time. You and me, it's story time. Story time. Let's achieve. Hello, my beautiful K crew, and welcome to story time with me, Kayla. As you can see, today is Friday, and that means we get a bonus read aloud this week. And so, today we have another special Arthur feature. Today, we are going to take a look at a book from returning author, Danielle Marietta. We had the honor of reading her first book that was just in time for the holidays, and now we are reading her brand new book that just came out March 1st. And so, without further ado, the book we'll be reading tonight is called Mr. Maloof, written by Danielle Marietta. Ready to see what this book is all about? Ready, set, let's begin. Whoosh. Mr. Maloof, written by Danielle Marietta and illustrated by Sarah Jane Docker. Here we go, Mr. Maloof. He's winking. Can you wink? I definitely can, but I know some people who can't. Her dedication, it says, to Grandma for always saying yes to one more game. And to my kids, may you always find the joy in life. XOXOXO. Oh, and she signed it for us. I always appreciate an autographed copy. So thank you so much, Danielle. Here we go. Mr. Maloof was a silly guy, his mother used to say. He'd hide and play tricks from sunup to sundown each and every day. He'd pop out from behind the curtains or even the bathroom door. One day, he hid under the rug in the middle of the living room floor. Oh my goodness. She was going to step on him. I think if I try hiding under a rug, I'll be a little too big. Little Maloof, you're such a goof. One day you will see not everything is a trick, but rather real as real can be. Silly mommy, what do you know? I'll be doing tricks as long as I grow. So his mother doesn't like these tricks that he's doing, but Maloof's like, nonsense. I'm going to do them forever. Okay, Mr. Maloof, but what happens when you're old? One day you will stop growing and these tricks will be too bold. Never will that happen, he thought, until that thought festered and grew quite a lot. And then one day it happened. What happened? He was young, he grew up, and now, what is he? He's old. He was goofy no more. He didn't plan schemes that involved popping out from the floor. The day had actually come, as his mother said it would. There were no jokes to tell, not even if he could. He doesn't look like the same Mr. Maloof, the silly Maloof, with the smiles and mischievous looks. He looks kind of, what do he look? Look kind of sad and grumpy, doesn't he? A frown on his face stretched from his left ear to his right. It was the frowniest frown that anyone had seen that night. A frown so frowny, the pressure built up, and he couldn't bring it downy. Oh my God. He couldn't bring it downy. So he was just stuck like that. He had a frown permanently on his face. And out it sprouted, one single hair, not enough for the smallest of pony. But oh, what was this? This color up here? There was no doubt. It was crystal clear, a sliver of color just above his right ear. So he frowned so hard that something on top of his head, boop, a single sliver of hair and color popped at the top of his head because he frowned so hard. Look at you, Mr. Goof Maloof, sitting on your chair. Grumpy as can be, now that you have this bright blue hair, you huff and pout and stump about, wondering how this came to be. It wasn't there a week ago, not 1, 2, or even 3. So now he's really mad. He's like, what is this on top of my head? Every other part of my head is gray or bald, not blue. Not brushing, nor combing, crimping, nor curling would tame this little blue beast. There it stood, up on his head, pointing 87 degrees northeast. It is much different. See, look at his eyebrows. He has gray where the parts of hair he does have, but this little blue hair is just doing its own thing. There, he was thinking thoughts on how to make this quite quick. He could pluck it with tweezers or snip it with clippers. Yes, that would do the trick. But when he tried to trim and cut, his clippers all broke and he had 0 luck. Oh my goodness, what is on top of his head that broke? Some scissors, a razor? Ooh. Then he jumped up and out. A hat, he said, will permanently cover this obnoxious little blue on my head. That afternoon, the old Mr. Maloof sat rocking on his stoop until 3 young kids came passing by and said, "Hey there, you old goof." They laughed and teased until the old man sneezed, and his blue hair burst right on through. The hat stood no chance when it came down to it. What bad luck! I should have knew it. Then one kid yelled, "His hair is blue!" "No way! That can't be true." The oldest kid pulled off her hat and blue hair fell right down her back. Look at her hair. It looks just like his, doesn't it? His tiny little... Can you see it? Mr. Maloof sat still in shock. They waved and continued on around the block. They'll be back, he knew, and planned out just what he'd do. A prank of all pranks. They won't know what hit 'em. I'll hide in the bushes, then shout, "Blue Bigum!" Days come and went, but there he stayed, determined not to move. Then, one day, here they came strolling straight down his avenue. He's like, "It's time." When the moment was right, he struck. Oh, he striked. And those kids yelled out with all of their might, "Blue Bigum!" And they're like, "Ah!" Even the cat got scared. A moment of silence, and everyone laughed. "What's your name, old man?" they asked curiously. "Mr. Maloof is what my mother has always called me. We'll get you next time, you silly old goof." Yes, yes, yes. And they did. And they did. And they did. And they did. Although Mr. Maloof had grown quite old, his silliness was an art. And that little blue hair that showed up that day reminded him we are always young at heart. The end. Yes, K-Crew! No matter how old we get, we are still young at heart. Now, I hope you all enjoy reading this book as much as I did. To find your copy of Mr. Maloof and to check out her first book, make sure to head on over to her website, and you can also find these books on Amazon. And of course, be sure to follow on social media. A huge thank you to Arthur Danielle for both of these submissions. You know, I really wonder when I get older, I wonder if I'll have a blue curl coming from my afro. Maybe. I thank you all out there for joining me, but it's time to sing goodbye. Are you ready? Here we go. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. My friends, goodbye to you. I hope to see you again real soon. Be proud of all your work tonight. Now climb into bed and sleep real tight. On a count of 3, let's say goodnight. 1, 2, 3.